Reducing our team by 18%. Still not bad as Bungie. I think they cut like 30% of their company, and they were also divided up amongst all the, you know, not Bungie owned, but like amongst other teams that are owned by that own Bungie.
Hey, what's up, guys? We're here. So today we're going to be looking at yet another potential lesson for the gaming industry that will likely fall on deaf ears. Now, we've all heard of the phrase, the sweet baby kiss of death, where basically any game that works with Sweet Baby Inc. ends up failing. But today we're looking at something that goes beyond just killing a game. It appears that a partnership with Sweet Baby has not only killed a game, but an entire franchise and possibly a studio to go with it. So here's the headline from Fandom Pulse. Sweet Baby Inc. infected, Reflector Entertainment admits Unknown 9 Awakening was a failure. Now, this is actually pretty surprising. It's rare to see a studio just straight up say their game was a failure.
That is true. Dustborn never admitted it was a failure. They just said the chuds are pieces of shit. Yeah.
I mean, we see Firewalk Studios all the way to the end, patting themselves on the back for Concord, despite being one of the biggest failures in gaming history. But Reflector Entertainment has come out and just straight up said, yeah, our game failed. And really, there's no way else to describe it. Unknown 9 Awakening was a failure for many different reasons. It came out with the typical DEI chin, you know, the crimson-chinned female model as the protagonist. And also this game was very poorly marketed. A lot of people...
We did point out that she looked a bit weird in certain angles, man. She was also very, like, large. And I don't mean, like, fat. I meant, like, her shoulders were extremely wide.
People didn't even know this game existed until it was already live and ready for purchase, and the numbers really reflect that. This is absolutely terrible. 10 in-game players right now, and this game has only been out for a few months, and you can see the review rating of 35%. People genuinely hated this game. Not many people gave it a chance, but when they did, the ones who played it actually hated it too. And the numbers are just horrible.
No,
right now, like I said, 10 players right now. The 24-hour peak is 18 players, and the all-time peak, which was right on release, was at 285.
I wonder what happened here. Did they have like a sale? This is a big spike right here. What happened?
And a lot of those people out of that 285 were just checking this game out of morbid curiosity because they got the game for free. I believe it came with a PC part bundle, and a lot of people...
Wait, hold on. It came with a PC bundle? It was free? That's probably what this is, or if it's... I don't know, maybe it's a sale, but like...
discovered the day after release that, oh, I had this as a part of the bundle, I'm going to check this game out. And it was just really morbid curiosity, and a lot of these people played the game for 2 seconds and said, yep, that's enough. So numbers like this are abysmal for any game, but for a game that clearly had a high budget and was working with Bandai Namco...
They gave them with GPUs. Wasn't there Indiana Jones that came with the new NVIDIA card or something? Yeah. I haven't touched it. I heard it was really, really mid. Like, almost like bad mid. It was just weird. I read some reviews and I watched it and it was really, really underwhelming.
Namco, this is just inexcusable and something that is really, really bad. A reflection on the modern audience and what happens when you appeal to that sort of a group. Now, there's something very interesting about Reflector Entertainment, the studio that developed this game. They were acquired by Bandai.
Purchase of Montreal. Why is all this crap from Montreal? I'm not even... This isn't even funny at this point. Why is it always the French Canadians? It's not just Canada. It's French Canada. It's only French Canada. I haven't heard them saying, like, I don't fucking know, like, Ottawa or something.
Namco a few years ago.
Explain
and the goal was to basically make an entire franchise out of Unknown 9 Awakening. And that has a very shocking parallel to what Sony did when they acquired Firewalk Studios a few years ago with the intention of making Concord a transcendent piece of media that was not only going to produce games, it was also going to produce shows and movies and novels and what have you. It's supposed to be an entire franchise. And we're seeing basically the same thing happen here with Reflector Entertainment, and it's backfired absolutely horribly. And if you look at their website, they still have this on here. This is the entire story world, or the intended story world of Unknown 9. You can see,
if you cut all of this out and take the budget from all of this and put it into the game, maybe the game wouldn't look and play like complete dog shit. I showed it earlier. The gameplay looks awful.
They had a video game that they already released, but they're also going to make a comic book and a scripted podcast and a novel trilogy and a web series. Like, it's absolutely insane. They had such ambitious goals for Unknown 9, and it crashed and failed on its first step. It's amazing that Bandai Namco thought purchasing Reflector was going to be a good investment on their behalf. And if you look...
Wait, good point. What the hell is a scripted podcast for a video game? Do they just, like, read stories? What is going on with this? Do they, like, role play in the podcast? They pay people? Yeah. Bro, why don't devs go back to throwing spaghetti on the wall and seeing what sticks and not investing everything into one basket without knowing if it's good or not yet? Because investors don't want risk. I know I'm probably explaining it because people already know this, but for those that don't understand, there's a lot of game failures from studios that weren't that great in the first place, and then they made something really good and they started coming into their own. Blizzard didn't immediately make a banger like Diablo. They didn't immediately make a banger like StarCraft. They made like 1, 2, 3 games that were like okay. They were pretty good, but it was still really niche, and then they got their worldwide acclaim. There's hundreds of studios that are triple A's now that started off being pretty dog shit or just kind of mid. They were all right, and that's okay, but investors, they want a banger right off the rip. It doesn't matter. Putting everything into here and hoping for the best.
Look at Reflector Entertainment. It's not too surprising that they are big on DEI. So you can see this right here. They have a diversity and inclusion committee. This is posted right on their website. It says this: this employee-run committee's mission is to raise awareness and accountability about issues related to diversity and inclusion. Its goal is to promote dialogue and action to ensure diversity remains a priority and asset across all of our company's endeavors, which now is going to...
How much money do they get for this? If it was, like, free, I wouldn't really care about the budget of it going towards this that much, but they obviously pay them millions of dollars to do this, like, quote unquote, we need to diversify the script and the dialogue shit.
Be how to handle layoffs because of how badly Unknown 9 Awakening failed. But you can see here that they are a member of the Canadian Center for Diversity and Inclusion, and they are also based out of Montreal. Now, anytime you hear a company really based in Canada, but especially in Montreal, you almost have to assume they are partnered with Sweet Baby, and that's exactly what happened with Unknown 9 Awakening. They posted this as an entry for the Shorty Awards, and you can see in the entry credits, ding, 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 David Bedard and Kim Belair, the co-founders of
Mr.
Sweet
Bedard.
Baby. That is prominently displayed right here for everyone to see at the beginning of the entry credits.
Classic.
It is a very, very weird thing to see these companies continuing to work with Sweet Baby. Now, when Sweet Baby got involved with this project, it might have been years ago, but still, the fact that anyone would...
Where does Canada get all this money to, like, support these video game... What is it called? Like, video game investments? Isn't, like, the Canadian dollar, like, really doing really badly? The taxpayers? Okay, but isn't everyone in Canada complaining because it really does suck to live there? Like, right now? The economy's going in the shitter. Everybody, like, the Canadian Post is going on strike. Housing's brutal, yes. Yeah, exactly. It makes me wonder, why do we prioritize this stuff over, like, helping the citizens, man? It makes me wonder.
Proudly display that they partnered with this woke consulting firm shows they have no pulse on what gamers actually think and actually want. And as you can see here, Sweet Baby continues to fail upwards. There is a rumor out there that as a result of everything that happened in 2024, all of the disastrous PR for Sweet Baby, it cost them no contracts. They have lost 0 contracts as a result of all of this failure they've been connected to. In fact, it is rumored that they're working on about 30 games. And honestly, I've heard from other sources that the total number of games they're working on could be as high as 70 or 80. It's absolutely mind-blowing how much they continue to fail upwards. They basically...
The guy that said slurs on Twitter in the past and was being extremely racist and unprofessional, he got kicked only like 6 months after that whole debacle because they were like, okay, finally, we have got to let you go. We can't keep this up. And then nothing ever happened to them. They were like, okay, we're just gonna keep going on without you. We don't really care. A lot of entertainment, like games, movies, or modern day coliseum. No, I understand that. It's just kind of mind blowing because it's like with America, it's like, yeah, we're not doing too hot either, but we have this like, you know, system of loaning money, getting back money. The banks are failing or they're going to fail soon. We have an insane military budget. Like there's some sort of like what does Canada actually produce outside of maple syrup and I don't know, gas? I think. Do they have oil and gas? Yeah, they do have oil and gas. Yeah, obviously, right? Poutine? I would hope not. But, like, politics aside, they have natural resources, and that's about it. They shouldn't focus on this crap. No, it's why do you need this?
Destroy every single game they're a part of. Every single game that has their name attached to it fails. They've had studios that shut down after collaborating with Sweet Baby. It's an absolute disaster, and Reflector Entertainment is just another example of that. And yet, the industry continues to award them, and it's absolutely mind-boggling that this still happens. But let's look at the statement from Reflector and Bandai Namco about this whole failure of Unknown 9 Awakening. So here's the official post from their CEO posted on LinkedIn saying this. Today, I informed our teams that I made the decision to not greenlight further work on a future project that was in conceptualization phase and thus terminating this development line. Continuing this project would not have been sustainable for the future of the studio. Regrettably, this also means that there will be redundancies following this decision. This decision correlates directly with the failure.
Redundancy is a fancy word for we don't actually need you anymore. We can't afford to pay you because we need to keep those people happy, the higher ups.
The studio's ambitious and courageous first project, a new IP with a rich transmedia universe. The performance of the release didn't come near the company expectations after numerous timeline adjustments and investments, both financially and other, and didn't warrant any further exploration in this universe. Unfortunately, this also affects back office staff, bringing these support teams in line with the single project approach the studio will adopt for the immediate future, where possible staff will be assigned to this project based on an existing Bandai Namco IP, which is shaping up very well. Reflector Entertainment will be providing adequate severance packages, extended health benefits for affected staff and their families, continued access to emotional, mental health, and counseling services, and finally, proactive career planning support to set them up for future success. Bandai Namco Entertainment Europe will continue investing on creating Western content for global audiences in line with the group's vision. So yes, quite literally, this company has imploded. The franchise is dead. Unknown 9, the franchise...
Yeah, for calling it a franchise is a really nice way of putting it. Again, Bandai Namco owns Armored Core. Well, not owns, but they published Armored Core. They published Elden Ring. They published Tekken. Like, what are we really talking about here. Like, I don't think Namco like really makes like a lot of good games or like is in charge of an insane amount of good games. They should just really focus on like, I don't know, supporting other good games that might want to get published. Instead of doing this fucking cringe, we're gonna do rich transmediated universe with like lots and lots of podcasts and a movie and a TV show, and also the game sucks, so nobody's gonna buy it.
Guys connected to it, it's completely done. They've shut it down. The first installment of the franchise, Unknown 9 Awakening, was such an epic failure. They just said, we're cutting our losses, we're done, and even having to provide all these services and protections for employees who clearly are going to be laid off as a result of this disaster. Now, going back to the Fandom Pulse article here, they also mentioned there was a now deleted blog post where Reflector Entertainment general manager Marc-Andre Seguin announced the company was reducing their staff by approximately 18% of Reflector's total workforce, saying this. As for why the layoffs were happening, he stated today's announcement isn't driven by commercial success or external pressures, but stems instead from our current reality, which is that at this time,
I love that they say it doesn't stem from external pressures or commercial success. However, we can't afford to pay everyone inside of the company. Little sneaky there, but I understand, yeah.
Cannot guarantee tangible work for all the talented individuals we employ. And he added, with the recent release of Unknown 9 Awakening and our two key production lines entering the early stages of development, we must make sure that our staff is laser focused on contributing to the projects that wholly benefit from their skill sets. So yeah, there's also a round of layoffs in a deleted post, which is kind of strange. But they are losing approximately 18% of their workforce. And again, none of this is really surprising when a game like that crashes and burns so hard. A game that clearly had a lot of money invested in, millions and millions of dollars, and yet it comes out and peaks around 200 concurrent players.
It had no marketing either. Again, why do... I should just like... if I could teleport into like the... What is it called? The room... with these like executives and devs and CEOs, I could fix this game in like 5 seconds. Take all the budgeting out of this dog shit ass game and the fucking podcast, the TV show, the book. Take that and put it into the fucking game and make it look like not dog shit and get some decent script writers. Boom! You don't even need amazing marketing to make a good game. Miside had no marketing. It was literally all word by mouth. Word by... Dude, my fucking brain. I'm speaking too fast. It was all through other people through... word by mouth. Word of mouth. Good lord, man. Word by mouth. Ugh. It was all through internal talking about how good the game is, and then other people trying it and people making memes out of it. You don't need an amazing marketing budget for it. You don't need multi-million-dollar ads and YouTube and stuff.
Just not acceptable, and obviously they're going to have layoffs and cut back as a result of this. But really, there's multiple factors. But again, you have another sweet baby project resulting in mass layoffs, a game flopping, and possibly a studio facing the end, because this looks really, really bad. And obviously Bandai Namco is licking their wounds and trying to recover from this.
They'll be fine. They make millions of dollars. They'll be okay. Just like Concord with Sony. They just took a little L. They don't care. And yes, I know Cha-Cha's late for the collab because her audio's been broken, so we're just gonna, keep it rolling, if that's okay with you guys. She just messaged me.
Horrible acquisition of Reflector that has not panned out, even in the smallest sense that they had intended when they made the purchase. But speaking of Bandai Namco, we recently quickly covered this, but they're previewing a new game, and people point out that in this game, they have a Type B and Type A type character that used to be your standard male and female, and it appears that everything going on at Reflector also reflects, no pun intended, on Bandai Namco and the woke nonsense They're supporting, or in many ways, I believe, being tricked into believing that people prefer. But in reality, nobody prefers this type B.
It's not about tricking. It's the companies that get paid money to tell them to do that, and they don't listen to their community. I mean, it's really not that deep. I genuinely don't think that the higher up in the CEOs are like, you know what we need? Type A and B voices. It's just them putting into the game and not caring. They just want to make money.
Type A nonsense. They just want female and male. Like, it's so basic. And if you want proof of that, I'll show this poll anytime it's relevant because I think it speaks volumes. The CEO of CI Games, the creators of Lords of the Fallen, made this poll as a result of seeing complaints about having the Type A and Type B body types in their game. So they said, I'll open up to you guys, we'll make a poll, and whatever wins, we'll go with that. And as you can see, after 50,000 votes, nearly 89% of people chose a male or female body type over the typical Type A, Type B.
I don't like being deduced to a body type A, type B when I'm a female. I don't like that terminology. I'm gonna be honest. I think it's a nitpick in video games. I think there are things that are far worse that exist in video games that have like the DEI stamp of like BAM approval, but it does irk me a lot. Like when Blizzard changed it, I was like, what? Why do we do this? Like, sure, type B. Yeah, you're a type bitch. Maybe that's why they put it in, because all females are bitches.
People are tired of this, and now more than ever, it should be very clear to these studios that this is the way the wind is blowing, and they need to basically get on board, or they'll end up failing like Unknown 9 Awakening or any other Sweet Baby-related project. People are done with this virtue signaling. And
again, I don't think Unknown Awakening failed because it had, what was it, like the pronoun bullshit, or was that another game? No, actually, that's another game. It's that other game that's coming out in February, but it didn't fail because of Type A, Type B bullshit. It failed because it sucked ass.
All this slop that comes with it.
That's right, Joe.
However, some journalists are not happy about this change of direction that's happening in the industry. You see Rock, Paper, Shotgun, who I cannot...
Wait, PC gaming since 1873? What? Is this a joke? Like an inside joke that I'm not understanding? Oh? Am I missing something? Maybe 1973? There were PC back then? Yeah, Cowboys had PCs. Maybe I'm missing something.
In existence and still functioning as a website. Who clicks on this other than to make fun of them? They made this article saying, video game publishers are starting to use anti-DEI as a marketing meme. I'm not exactly sure what a marketing meme is, but these companies are very...
No, marketing meme is a, what is it called? Like they cancel each other out. They don't make sense. Meme is organic. Marketing is not. You can't have a marketing meme in itself. What is it called? Not a conundrum. It's a oxymoron. Thank you. Yes, an oxymoron. It doesn't make sense. Memes that come from the people, not from a fucking marketing team, man. You ever see those corpos that make like jokes about, I don't know, KFC and Burger King and Wendy's, and they'll try and force memes on Twitter? It doesn't really work. Like, people might laugh at it ironically, but it's not organic either.
Serious about trying to convince people they are anti-woke, or at the very least, they don't support DEI. And that is a smart financial decision for them. That's not grifting or a marketing meme. It's just a good set of PR. It's reading the room and understanding how people feel about this stuff and trying to expand the potential of your game. Because a lot of companies just don't see this, and they continue to act like fools and implement DEI and all these things, and it's costing them. And it's good to see people actually acknowledging what gamers want, rejecting DEI, And personally,
if anything, memes are a very good indicator of whether or not you have a successful game on your hands. Like, Mies today had memes. Like, granted, the game came out like a weeks or even like a month or so, and then it started circulating through what I like to call like the culture like train, and then people started making memes out of it organically, and it started becoming popular, and then it obviously translated into more game sales, and they made like a lot of money out of it. That's organic. Nobody's ever gone to like the Wendy's tweet and be like, ha ha ha, wow, Wendy's Twitter, you made a really funny comment. I'm gonna go buy myself a fucking burger from you. It's like, that's not how it works, brother.
I don't really care if they actually believe this deep down. Like with Lords of the Fallen and CI Games, do I actually believe that they hate DEI and this is something they genuinely believe at their heart is a bad thing? I don't know. But at least they're responding to people. The results are there. We're flushing this garbage out of the industry because finally some of these developers are listening to what people are saying, and they're doing this because they're seeing the failures of other DEI-infested games. Unknown 9 Awakening is an example of that. They're seeing the failure, and they're going, well, that's all I need to see. We are not going to cater to this DEI nonsense. And yeah, if you go down the article here too, they talk about these right-wing talking heads, and they say this, the concept of DEI today...
Where's the right-wing talking heads? Lively of right-wing journalists, streamers, and assorted grifters who I love it when they use the word grifter. It's just so delicious. Grifters. Grifters that don't actually believe what they're saying, and they don't actually hate these games. They just do it because it's popular. Yep, that makes perfect sense. Again, the logic that these people who dislike your games are grifters and they're a minority of like right-wing journalists and streamers, them existing, you should have an equal amount of people that counterforce them if your game is actually that good. Cybernetic bondage outfit in Stellar Blade being patched, and people are like, oh my god, they nerfed the booba!
It doesn't, however, just cover what happens at work. Within many reactionary online circles, DEI has evolved, like woke, into a catch-all signifier for a caboodle of left-wing or progressive positions across society and culture, from recent trans rights advocacy to older feminist arguments about positive representation in art. There's a lively community.
Again, woke and chud are the same words. I laugh at them because most of the time they're not actually like the word that you want to use for those people. Woke is like a blanket term. I've actually not used it that often. I watch a lot of videos where people spam the word woke, and I'm like, well, I mean, having the pronouns in the game doesn't automatically make it woke. Or Baldur's Gate 3 is a really good example, and I brought it up 100 times, but they have Type A and Type B voices, but nobody really cared because the game was good. Nobody said anything. They didn't care.
Of right-wing journalists, streamers, and assorted grifters. Of course, it's always the grifters who bond over and profit from the exercise of combing video games for signs of DEI infestation. For instance, a cybernetic bondage outfit in Stellar Blade being patched to include a modest undershirt, or the discovery that Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, often framed as a nostalgic fantasy about an all-white 15th century Bohemia, includes at
what? What? Okay, history is a 15th century Bohemia for white people. Yeah, for sure.
At least one person of color with a Quranic name. Yes, they are absolutely seething. Yes, people called out, especially the Stellar Blade example, that was an act of censorship and also a rug pull.
Okay, hold on. So if I play Medieval Total War 2, and I play as the, I don't know, like the English, and I don't interact with the Moors or the Turks in my playthrough, does that mean that it's not a diverse playthrough because I don't manage to interact with them because I'm like on my own little island conquering all of Europe? Yes. Oh, okay. I guess we should bring like the Egyptians up into like France and like have them fight me and stuff. That's racism! Well, darn, fuck. Shit. Not defeating the allegations, I guess.
Where people were falsely led into believing the game was not going to be censored, and it was censored after an initial patch right after the game was launched. That wasn't fair, and I'm glad people called that out. That's not grifting. That's not attacking anyone unfairly. That is a fair criticism to raise. And it's funny how calling out censorship and calling out lies in the gaming industry is now somehow a right-wing concept. Wow, what a weird thing to say. But anyways, that's going to do it for this video. A lot of things going on in the gaming industry.
Also often framed as a nostalgic fantasy. Who fucking alive was here breathing when the 15th century, like, medieval times happened? Why do you frame it like nostalgic, man? You? I'm not that old!
The drama never seems to end.
That was not
and
there
Unknown
during the
Awakening
Crusades.
just imploded Reflector, and I guess they have no one to blame but themselves. But that's going to do it for this video. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comments section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.
Yeah, everybody in my chat was a vampire. They experienced this firsthand. Anyway, chat! Go check them out! That was a great video. Like I said, you can just tell. Sometimes you can just tell by reading an article how the way it's framed and how pissy and pissed off and how everybody's washed into, like, again, I have to preface this with like the same people that say all people that like pronouns are left wing. It's not everything. It's having a flag in your bio, saying that you have a mental illness in your bio, saying that you need to have these pronouns, and if you don't like it, then get out. Like, all of those things, that's when it starts becoming a problem. Pattern recognition. Not all of the things, not some of the things, but most of the time, if it adds up, it usually means something. Usually you can tell by the title alone. Yeah, it's just pissy. Pissy, 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 pissy.